Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Bakersfield West Rotary Stroop Family Foundation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, Kern High School District, and AC Electric Company, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.
Well, good afternoon and welcome to Do the Math. I'm Michael.
And I'm Scott.
And in studio with us we have Cohen. Cohen, if somebody wanted to get a hold of us, what would they need to do?
For math homework help, call in Bakersfield 636-4357, toll free 1-866-636-6284. Email dothemath@kern.org. We're online at dothemathonline.net and on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
All right, nicely done right there. Now, let's get to the important things. Where do you go to school?
I go to school at Loudon Elementary.
What grade are you in?
Fourth.
So you're a fourth grade leopard, I do believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been at Loudon? For a long time?
Since kindergarten.
All right, so you're pretty comfortable with the school. How do you like school now? It's a little different, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't like it nearly as much, but it's still fun.
Okay, well, good. Well, that's good that it's fun, and I don't like it nearly as much either, right? It's better when we have the students and the teachers, everybody together, right? All right, well, good. I'm glad we agree on that. So, you're ready to do a little math today, right?
Yeah.
All right, well, head on over to the board, and we'll work on a problem that you've been working on in fourth grade right now. I do believe as though you're working on adding some pretty large numbers, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. You put up two numbers. Just put up any two digits you want.
Okay. What?
Oh yeah, you can't let your arm or hand touch the board, just the...
Okay. Oh wait, what? I messed up.
You can erase it. You know how to erase.
Yeah.
There you go. Easily done. Okay, so we're going to go with a 4.
That's supposed to be a comma.
Oh, he's going big. All right.
Whoa, hold on there, brother. You got your two numbers now. I will add there. Get that comma out of there. We're not going with a little 1,000.
Okay.
Put a 3 after the 0.
Okay.
In front of the 4, put a 7.
Okay.
After the 3, put a 9. After the 3, put a 9. No,
No,
yeah,
after
after
the
the 3.
So how do I fit it right here?
No, after the 3.
After the 3.
Yep. Right over here.
Right over here? Oh.
9 like
There
that,
you
see?
go.
Okay.
All right. And then put a 1 after the 9.
Okay.
Now where would the comma go?
Ooh.
The comma would go here.
Perfect. And every 3 digits, that's called a period. All right? So now we're going to add to that.
Okay.
All right? So put your addition symbol way over to the, there you go. Hey, just erase it. It's just when your hand touched it a little bit, that's all. And under it, I will let you select all of the numbers to go under those numbers.
Okay.
So you can pick any numbers you want to go under them.
Sorry, I'm moving that up there for you.
Yeah, he was moving it on you there at the same time, huh? Tell him, slow down there, brother.
Oh, I like it. All right. Gonna add them together? I think you have enough room there. Now, Cohen, before we start, can you tell me what the number is that you wrote? How do you say that in words? The number that you wrote there.
53,474.
Nice. What about the one that we started with? The big one on top there.
740,391.
Good job. All right, so what we're going to do is add those two together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So where are you going to start? You're going to start way over on the left?
I'm going to start all the way up to 100.
It would be nice to start on the left, but let's think about this a little bit. What happens if you happen to have some numbers where you have to carry?
Oh.
Yeah, you might want to start on the right, huh? You could go on the left, but we might run into a problem there somewhere along the line. So let's go ahead and start on the right instead. So tell me the numbers you're adding together.
1 and 4.
Okay, what do you get?
5.
All right, that's fair. What about the next numbers? Next number's in the tens column, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what numbers are you adding together?
7 and 9.
Okay.
So that would be another 10. So this would be 4. And
Okay, hold on. Slow down a little bit. Tell me what 7 plus 9 is.
7 plus 9 is 16.
16. And you can't fit 16 down there, right? So what are you going to put next to the 5?
I'm going to put, this is the 5
Yeah, on the bottom.
on the bottom. Oh,
Yeah,
I'm
right down
gonna
here where
put
the 5 is. See, right here? Where,
Mhm.
What are you going to put in this spot right here? Since you can't write 16.
6.
Put a 6 down there. Sounds like a good plan to me. 6, and then where does the 1 go?
1. The 1 goes there. The 1? Wait,
The 1, yeah. The one that you're going to carry, right?
Yeah, it goes right here.
All right,
so
show
that
us.
would be a 4.
We want to see it. We're not going to make it a 4 yet, but just put the 1 way up top, and then you can tell us that it's going to happen, right? When you carry another number up there, there you go. We're going to add that 1 to the next column, right? That's why we didn't want to start from the left-hand side.
Okay.
Okay, so which numbers are you adding now?
I'm going to add 4 and 4.
Okay.
Actually, no, 3 and 4, and then we're going to add 1.
There you go. That's a good idea to explain it that way. Then we know where it's coming from. So 1 plus 3 plus 4. What do you get?
1 plus 3 equals 4, and
Okay.
4 plus 4 equals 8.
Okay.
So 8 goes right here.
Yeah, and what place is that in? What place value?
Hundreds.
That's in the hundreds. Good for you. Okay, which numbers are we adding next?
The 1000s.
The thousands place. That's it, right? Which number? Which digits are they?
0 and 3.
Good. What's 0 plus 3?
0 plus 3 is 3.
Okay. Which digits are you going to add next?
4 and 5.
Okay, good idea.
That would be 9.
Yep. And which digits are you going to add at the end there?
7 plus nothing.
Ah, so you really are adding something, but that something is nothing.
Can nothing be something?
7.
Something is nothing, right? Nope.
Wow, that's a pretty big one. Now, of course, your job is to tell us what is the name of this number.
793,865.
Good for you. Gotcha. If you had to, right? If we asked you to do this, I know you could. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. If you had to check your answer here, 793,865, what is the method that you would use to check to see if this problem is done correctly?
You'd probably,
So if you started off with 7, 9, 3,
you'd probably minus it
8.
from.
Oh, I like it. What
the-
would you minus?
You'd minus it. You'd minus this number, the bottom number that we ended up with,
Uh-huh.
and the number that we started off with.
Okay. That's a
To
good
see if
idea.
it's the same
So
answer.
if you did this problem right here, 3, 9, 1, right? If you did that problem, what should the answer be?
The answer, it should be 53,474.
Well, I've done a
if
whole
it's
lot of work
correct.
there. I think we should probably check it. Let's go ahead and see if you can just do this quick subtraction problem that I've written in red here.
So then the
We know what the answer should be. Let's make sure it is, right?
4.
Mm-hmm. Good for you. 5 minus 1 is 4.
6 minus 9 is, we can't do that.
Can't do that.
So we have to take 7, we would have to take 1 from the 8,
Okay, let's show us
make
that.
it a 7.
Cross off that 8 and make it a 7. There you go. Mm-hmm. And you're borrowing, right? So where does the 1 go?
It goes right here. This is
Yeah.
16 minus 9. This
Okay.
would be 7.
Good.
And then we do 7 minus 3.
Mm-hmm.
That would be 4.
Good.
So far, it's looking good.
So far, it's looking good. I have to agree. I'm glad you're checking.
0 minus 3 is 3.
Or 3 minus 0, yeah. I'm with you. Just 3.
So I'm gonna have to put the comma right here.
Okay.
And then 3.
Yep.
9 minus 4 would be 5. And 7 minus 7 would be 0.
That's it. Is that the same number that
That
you have
is
over
the
there?
exact same number.
That's the exact same number. Great way to check it if you're not quite sure, especially when you're dealing with these really big numbers. Sometimes you're not quite sure if you got all the numbers right. You can always go back and make a little check there.
5, 5, 3, 3, 4, 4, 7, 7, 4, 4.
Check, 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 check.
Nicely done, boys. Nicely done. You know what? After you do the subtraction, you can also use a calculator and see if it all came out the right way.
Lots of
too.
ways to check.
That's another way to check it.
So now
Hey,
can
we
I
do have
just
phone
erase
tutors
this?
available until 5:30 this afternoon. And you know what we're going to do right now? We have math in here, but we also have some math in the real world. Let's go check it out.
Today we are at Action Sports, and I am with Sam Aames, Store Manager. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Great. Can you give us a little rundown about Action Sports?
Sure. So Action Sports opened in August of 1988. So we've been in business, over almost 30 years, 30 years now. So at the original location, which was near Trader Joe's, and we moved into this building 2005, I want to say, so 6. I'd have to double check, sorry. But I've been in this location for a long time, and we continue to be Bakersfield's premier bike shop.
Now, you're just not bicycles, correct?
Correct. We do a few other things. We have a ski department. We do winter rentals for skis and sell equipment in that area. We also have our indoor rock climbing wall, which is great for the kids. You know, it's a place parents can come shop for a bike. They can take the kids rock climbing. So when we moved into this, we wanted it to be more than just a bicycle store. So yeah, we dabble in a few other sports areas as well.
Yeah, and I know with running, because I've been here several times to sign up for any kind of races within the town.
Sure. Yeah, we love to support, a lot of the local events. I actually help put on a few local cycling events. A lot of the running crowd are also customers that bicycle. So we're blessed to have the square footage to be able to let them come pick up packets, do pre-registration, things like that. So yeah, we want to be involved.
And Sam, how long have you been here at Action Sports?
Well, I was the original employee in 1988. But back to work as of last year on a very permanent basis. I'm not going anywhere at this time. So really, if you kind of count a few years off, about 14 years.
Now, you're a cyclist yourself,
I am.
correct? So you have a lot of background there.
I do. This is my 34th year in cycling. I started when I was in high school, watched a bike race on TV and fell in love with it from there. So it's been a really big passion, and I'm blessed and thankful to get to work in the industry as well as enjoying it as a hobby.
Now, can you kind of give us a little rundown how COVID-19 has affected Action Sports and the industry?
Yeah, so from an industry standpoint, the store has been unprecedentedly busy. When COVID hit, I can remember coming back to town from a mountain bike event in March, and we were starting to get little bits and pieces from the governor about what was going to happen and having the lockdown and whatnot. We immediately saw massive growth in sales. We were selling just about all the inventory we had, and it became very clear very quickly that there's not going to be much left to buy. So it's been a very interesting 6 months with just supply and demand. We've been doing record numbers, but we're at a point now where inventory is still out on a lot of bikes and products, so we're just waiting for more to come back in. But we've been grateful and thankful to be open. We're considered an essential business because of transportation. We have a number of customers that commute by bike that don't physically have cars at all. And we do a little bit of wheelchair business. So there's aspects of our business that's not just always for fun, but it really has been a great resource for people that need to get a little fun and get out of the houses to ride their bike. So our repair shop has been just overwhelmingly busy, and we have been selling the bikes that we have. So.
Now, also with gyms closing, I'm sure that really upped it up because
Yes.
everybody's outside and they all
Everybody.
want to get out now and still continue with working out.
I remember I like to ride my bike to work, commute as often as I can. And I live on the east side of town, so it's a pretty good commute. And on the way home, I was going through, I have a path that cuts through some of the neighborhoods near Garces High School, and there were people and kids on bikes everywhere. And it was like that all the way home. The bike path has been full of bicycles,
yeah.
and so it's really been an activity for people to sort of rediscover. So we're grateful for that. Hopefully they keep riding.
Yeah, I've noticed that too. Trying to go to the parks, it's filled with everybody and they're out and about, and it's
Yes.
really wonderful to see.
We love it.
So we're gonna get more behind the bicycle. So when we come back, I think you're gonna be fitting me for a bicycle.
We're going to do it.
Okay, all right. So we're gonna send it back to you, Mike, at the studio. And when we come back, we're gonna be looking at some bikes.
All right, thanks for that, Marylou. Also, thanks to Sam. He's been a guest on the program many a times, and we do appreciate Sam helping out with action sports right there. Getting fitted for a bicycle, I need to go down there and have Sam fit me for the old man. Get one of those. We get Scott on one, get Cohen a bike, get everybody get
Heck
biking out
yeah.
there. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30. And one thing I neglected to do, and I apologize for this, Cohen, is we didn't even do our math in the news today, so we're going to do our math in the news right now. Is that fine with you?
Yeah, I don't care.
All right, good. All right, so our math in the news today has to deal with setting up an office at home, because you at school kind of had to set up a little study area for yourself, right? What kinds of things did you do to get yourself set up for virtual distance learning?
First, my mom kind of just bought me a desk,
Okay.
and I used one of the foldable chairs that we use for the dining table.
There you go.
And then
Did you get a Chromebook or something from school also?
Yeah.
Okay.
we had that for a couple of months since we had to head back.
And you've got yourself some paper and pencil and stuff like that, some
Yeah.
basic supplies?
She also sent us like a binder and stuff like that.
Good,
full of
perfect.
with
You got
all-
yourself a little water cup also?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can go grab one whenever you need. The old man, I got a water cup right next to me when we're doing class. But anyway, in the news, they had a couple of examples of setting up different scenarios. So the first one right here, and it's more for an office worker instead of maybe just school. But for setting up on a sofa, a bed, wherever, someplace a little casual. And we can see the different items that we have right here. And it said, number one, so this is a seat cushion. And this is listed at $99. The next one, number two, is a portable desk lamp. That is listed at $160. Number three, we've got a tray where you could put that on over your lap if you were laying down or something like that. That's listed at $199. Number four, we've got this ring light. Now, I've seen some teachers with this, and I guess it makes you look better. You know, and I'm sure it's just some light to get on you. No need for anybody to see me any better than they already have to. But anyway, that's number four. That's $160 for that ring light. Number five, a tray, right? A desk tray, $90. And those are some basic items right there. So, Cohen, if you do me a favor, up on the board, put $708. So 708, $708. Okay? That's what it is for a basic setup, you know, like if you're laying around on your bed or something pretty casual. Okay? So now we'll go to the other side and we'll see this one says for a proper home office setup. And we've got a couple of different things here. So number one, we've got the roller mouse trackpad, which is right here that you put at the bottom of the keyboard. Have you ever seen one of those? I've seen them, but I've never purchased one, probably because this is $265. Number two, the ergonomic chair, $1,069.
Wow.
I like what you did with the folding chair.
We'll stick
I've
with
got
the
one
folding
like
chair.
that myself. Number three, the desk. And you said your mom got you a desk, right? Got you all set up and things like that. This one, they must make it out of gold leaf, something, $449.
It's because you can stand up on it. Look at that. Fancy.
Number four, here we go with the wireless printer. Okay, so there it is, $200. And then we have a monitor. Okay, now this isn't just any monitor, this is a $700 monitor. So this is all going to be a little more expensive, isn't it? Okay, on the other side, let's put $2,683. $2,683.
Wait, what? What am I doing?
Yeah.
Actually,
There you go. Easy enough to erase. So 2683.
It looks like an upside down 5. Whatever.
683. I really like the way you made that too, because that is like an inverted backwards 5 almost. You know what I mean? If you think about it, you look at it, that's a pretty remarkable way to do that. It's pretty cool. I like that. Do me a favor and put a $ on each of those amounts, because we are dealing with dollars right now.
Let's put it in front on the other side. So right there on the side of the 2, that's a good place to put it right there.
Yeah, just make an S. There you go.
Good job.
Then do I erase this one?
Yeah, we probably want to put it in the front of the 7, just because that's usually the way we see it.
Yep.
Yep, there you go.
All right, so you're going to do something a little different than what you're doing in 4th grade right now. We're going to introduce you to percent increase. All right?
Okay.
Now, when you think about percents, have you ever even heard of the word percent?
I have heard of the word percent, like I got 90% of my tests.
Excellent. That's what I want to hear. You got a 90% on your test, right? That means you got 90 out of 100, right? 100% is the whole thing, okay? So what we need to do is we first of all need to subtract these 2 numbers. We need to find the difference in the 2 numbers.
Okay.
So how are we going to subtract these 2 numbers? What would you pose we do here?
I would say we would.
Should we go 2,683 minus 708 or do it the other way?
2,683 minus 708.
All right, go ahead and do that for me. Scott wrote it up there for you. You go ahead and finish it.
I'm going to give you a little more room. Hold on just a second. There you go.
Do I need to write on top of it or below it?
What's that?
Well, you'll put the answer below it.
Yeah, just like we did in the last one when you were checking your answer there. A little
Oh, so
subtraction.
it's just that. Okay.
Yeah. So what's 3 minus 8?
3 minus 8 is 5.
Uh-oh. 8 minus 3 is 5. But what about 3 minus 8?
3 minus 8 is 5.
No. 8 minus 3 is 5. 3 minus 8?
Oh!
Oh, you can't do that. Gotta
He
do
was
some
probably
borrowing, huh?
thinking absolute value because it would be -5 and the absolute value of -5.
True,
8
true.
minus 8. Okay, it would be 7 because we would be taking 1 from the 8 and
Okay,
making
so
it.
let's show all that stuff. Go ahead and erase the part where you just about wrote 5. Erase that part real quick. And go ahead and borrow from the 8. Okay,
from the
cross
8.
off the 8 up there. Not that one, the
Oh,
one on top.
not that one.
That's okay, you can leave that there. There you go. And put a 7. Good, and put a 1 in front of the 3 so we know that we borrowed 1, right? Good. Now what do you got? 13 minus 8, right?
13 minus
What's
8
that?
is. It's still 5.
Hey, that worked
Yeah.
out pretty well.
I was waiting for him to realize that and go, hey, wise guy, it's still going to be 5.
We are mathematically correct now, though, so that's good there. 7 minus 0, what's next?
It's 7.
7. Now, what about 6 minus 7?
We can't do that.
Can't do that one. All right, borrow from that 2. That wonderfully drawn 2. Yeah, put the 1 in front of the 6. And what's 16 minus 7?
That would be.
It's not 5, just so you
9.
know. 9, that's right.
And
Yep.
then this is 1.
Uh-huh.
So there's
Get your comma in there. So the difference between those two is, tell us that number.
1,975.
Gotcha. All right, what are we going to do with that number?
All right, now, here's what I need you to do. Because you I don't know what we're going to do. We already finished it, right? Way over on the left-hand side, down kind of towards the bottom, I want you to write 1975, 1,975. 975, just like you wrote your answer. And I want you to get rid of all the other stuff.
All the other stuff.
Yep.
So get rid of all this.
That's it, get rid of it all.
That's gone.
That's gone.
And get rid of that big one too. There you go.
Boom.
All right.
Well done.
So now here's what we're going to do. We're going to take 1975 and we're going to divide it.
Okay.
So put a division symbol next to that by the original amount. Do you remember offhand what the lower amount was?
708.
Perfect. Put 708 right after the division. And then after that, you're going to write a multiplication symbol,
Okay.
an X, there you go, 100. Because we're going to want a percent. And we know the percent's always out of 100. So, what I'd like you to do is you can use the calculator here. All right?
Okay.
So put in the first number. What's the first number?
1975.
Put it in.
1975.
And then divide by, right? The division symbol.
Divide by
What's the next number?
708.
Put in 708. Put equals. Now you get a big number, right? With a lot of decimal places. What's the last thing we have to do?
The last thing we have to do is times that by 100.
So put times 100.
Times 100
Hit equals.
equals.
Okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to, underneath all of that, write down the entire number you've got. Bring the calculator over there with you.
Okay, that's going to be tough.
That's why I want you to bring it over there with you.
$278.958. Is there more?
Wait, what? I messed that up.
But you know what? Stop right there. Okay, that's far enough. So you can get rid of that little, there you
I'm
go.
going to fix this real quick.
Is it an 8?
It's a 4 instead
Oh,
of
it's a
an 8.
4.
I missed the 4. It's right after the 4.
And once you write the 4, you're all through. Okay, now here's what I'd like you to do. Okay, go ahead and put the calculator over here because you're going to need both hands. You're going to have to think on this one, all right?
Okay.
Read that number to me right now.
278,954.
Well, we don't have a comma, we have a decimal point. So it's just 278.954.
Okay.
We'll get into place value another day with you, but right now that's the only number that we need to deal with.
Okay.
I don't want a decimal as a number, I want a whole number.
Okay.
So do you know how to round numbers yet?
Round numbers, yeah.
Okay, so what do you think we're going to need to do here? Because I don't want 278.9. I want 270 something. So what do you think it's going to be?
I know. It's going to be 2. Wait, what? Keep on drawing Z's. I don't want Z's.
Put a little tail on it. Looks kind of like a 2. There you go.
279.
Beautiful. How did you get the 9?
Wait, hold up. Okay. I got the 9. I got the 9 because rounding it, if it's 5 or over, it rounds to, so 8.9, just that. 8.9 would usually be 9 because if it's 5 or over, it would equal to 9. But if it was 4 or under, it would be just 8.
There you go. Perfectly done. So what I'd like you to do is up on top of everything, write 279, and then put a percent symbol if you know how to write one of those.
279. The percent symbol is something like this.
There you go. Nicely done. So 279% increase from the laying around in bed to having that expensive one. And that is today's Math in the News. Nicely done, Cohen. You have done some great work today. And for your efforts, you've got yourself a meal courtesy of our friends at Grillenberger. So congratulations on that. I know they've got some great food over there, and I like to go there myself every once in a while. We do have phone tutors available until 5:30 this afternoon. We'll be back with more right after this. Oh, you know what?
We are back here at Action Sports, and I am with Sam Aames, the store manager, and we have a beautiful bicycle in front of us.
We do. This is a nice Specialized Crossroads models. One of the bikes that we were fortunate enough to get during COVID time, so grateful that we got a few. One of the big things that we do here at Action Sports is fit the bicycle to the customer.
Now, why? Why is that?
So in bicycling, even on a casual level up to a racer or more competitive level, there are some things geometrically that we want to see fall into place for the comfort of the rider, for their handling, safety, and for the bike to really fit properly. So bicycles come in various sizes. Sometimes they do what we call t-shirt sizing, which will be small, medium, large, double extra large, extra small. And then sometimes it's done in a centimeter sizing system, which really goes a lot deeper in how that's achieved. But they'll start at like a 44 centimeter, 48, 50, 52, 54, 56, and so forth. And really the purpose of that is to get the right size bicycle frame for the fit and the size of the individual.
So a couple years back, I did the triathlon, and I borrowed a bicycle for the bicycle part from my friend. And I had to come in because obviously her bike was made for her. So
Yes.
when I took it, obviously the fit wasn't quite right for me.
Sure. There's a lot of geometry that goes into, we talk about math and bicycles, there's a lot of geometry that goes into a bicycle, and there's a lot of geometry that goes into the fit of the bicycle. We do a great deal of fitting every day, in fact, and one of the things that we really want to accomplish is rider comfort. So in that process, we have to set the seat height at a particular height. We have to get the fore and aft of the saddle at a certain position. We have to check the measurements and the length of the leg for proper extension, so you're not overextended and underextended. And then, of course, the reach to the handlebar. We want to make sure that it's comfortable, it's not too low, it's not too high, too long, too short. So we have a lot of things going on biomechanically on the bike, and we want to make sure that they're all right.
Okay, so my question, when kids get their bikes, they, get tricycle and they move up, what age do you think kids should really start coming in and getting fitted for a bicycle?
We have some parents who ride, not competitively, but they ride often and a lot, and so it will vary. Typically, once a child transitions from a BMX bike or like a regular kid's bike into something that has gears or is going to start getting into the smallest frame sizes of an adult bike, that's typically when we will start to do that. Age-related, anywhere between 11 and 13 years old.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
the
it's
kids are
not-
pretty adaptable.
Yeah, so it's not just about the seat.
No, it's really one of the things that goes in that I spend a lot of time doing in addition to the fitting. Customers rely on my expertise and experience to get those things where they go, but I have to listen to them too. I have to listen to what they like and don't like. So what we want to try to accomplish with everybody is a little bit of education. We want them to understand some of the angles and the things of why we do what we do, because it allows them to make sense of what's going on.
Okay, all right, so obviously you have your tools here.
Yes.
Okay.
Lots of tools.
And so if I was a customer coming in and this was my bike I was purchasing, what would I need to do?
So the first thing that we do is really try to determine that the bicycle is the right size, because oftentimes when we're standing on the sales floor and we're having a conversation, there's parameters, but we really don't know if it's the right size until I physically put you on the bike. I'm kind of a stickler for detail about that with my sales staff and the other people. Getting the right size is important. Everybody can realistically ride more than one size, but we want the best size. So we would accomplish that by putting the bike in the stationary trainer, which we have here, and then physically putting you on it. From there, we go to setting up the height of the saddle, the fore and aft of the saddle, and then we address things to the front end of the bike. We want the biomechanics of the rear of the bike to be set first before we start changing anything else.
Okay, so do I need to get on the bike now?
Absolutely, climb on up there.
Now, obviously I'm not getting on correctly, am I?
You are doing just fine.
Okay.
And you're locked in. I haven't lost anybody yet. So go ahead and put your hands on the handlebars. And typically in cycling, when we're using a regular shoe and sneaker combination, compared to some of the systems that allow you to physically clip into a pedal, kind of like a ski binding, we want to make sure that we get you on the ball of your foot, which you are there, and want to make sure that you're sitting squarely on the saddle. So typically when the back of the bottom is flush with the back of the seat, that's where the best sitting position is, and then hands on the bars. And what we'll do is I'll have you pedal forward. And so we're going to check two things. We're going to check the fore and aft of the saddle, and we do that by using what's called a plumb bob, this little bolt on a string, and we look at your knee and the angle at which it sits over. So with the pedals at about the 3 o'clock position, this is just about perfect. We want that front of your patella to be right near the front of the crank arm, which it is. We could take it back just a hair, but that's pretty good. And then go ahead and have your pedal down to the bottom. And then we look at what we call dead bottom center, which is this position here. So typically it's when the crank arm aligns with the frame. And I have this wonderful little tool here called a goniometer that a lot of physical therapists use in that arena. So we've learned a lot about bike fit over the last few years, and what we've really realized is that the optimum angle of the saddle height is about 30 degrees.
Oh, wow.
So if we look at our device here, we're at about 31 or 32, almost perfect.
So, well,
We got pretty lucky just by putting that in the stand. We didn't do this before, we did it just
I
now.
know. And talking about geometry, yeah, definitely. There's a lot of geometry there.
A lot of geometry. Everything is all angles and distances, and that's really what we try to do.
Okay.
Get it set right.
So obviously the legs, making sure everything is aligned with the legs in the seat. Now you talked about this way. Is there anything that you do with the handlebars?
Absolutely, yes. So typically once we've got the saddle height set and we've had a discussion about its fore and aft position, its vertical height, we look for the front end of the bike to be a very natural, comfortable feel. We don't want the reach to be too far out. We don't want it to be too short. We don't want it too high, and we don't want it too low. So what we do with that is we can make rotations to the handlebar. We can change some of the ergonomics. We're also able to change parts of the bike, which is this piece is called the stem. So this is the handlebar, and then this is the stem. Modern bicycles now are a little bit more difficult to adjust. It takes more time, but it's better. We have more options of how to get those handlebars higher, lower, longer, or shorter. So if in the case where if this bike was the right size but was still a little bit long, because of torso length or arm length, we would make a change to the stem. Higher, lower, longer, shorter, based on what you'd like. And what feels comfortable for you.
This is awesome. Okay, well, we have more to come. I'm not going anywhere. I'm pretty stable, but we're going to send it back to you, Mike, at the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Marylou. Stable and stationary right there, and Sam showing us a lot of measurement, especially with geometry right there. And who knew there was that much into fitting yourself on a bicycle right there. All right, we do have phone tutors available until 5:30. More importantly, we have Cohen in studio, a 4th grade student from Loudon Elementary. He's been a leopard for 5 years now, ever since kindergarten. School's a little different, but you're doing pretty well with it, right? All right. So we've done some addition of large numbers with you, and we've even explored percent increase. That's a bonus for today, right? For 4th grade. So right now, I know that you said that you're going to be starting to talk about prime and composite numbers in class. So let's start talking about prime and composite numbers here. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right. So why don't you head on over to the board, and why don't you just write a big P up on the top left.
Okay.
That'll stand for prime. And on the other side of the board, put a big C.
Okay.
There you go, over there. That'll stand for composite. So now what I'd like you and Scott to do is, first of all, talk about the words. What do they mean? And then let's start putting some numbers with them. All right? So go to it.
What do you know about prime or composite? What does prime remind you of? Have you heard that word before?
Yeah.
Where have you heard it?
Like, I've heard it in different stuff, but it's put together with other words. Like,
Yeah, like what?
one of my favorite movies, Optimus Prime.
Optimus Prime, there you go.
And then, like, Amazon Prime.
Oh, nice, I like it.
That's all.
So tell me a little about Optimus Prime. What role does he have in the Transformers?
He has the role of being the boss of all of them.
Yeah,
And he
he's
has
like
to-
the #1 guy, huh?
And he has to keep the world protected.
That's it. So he has kind of an important role, right? And Amazon Prime, you know, as we all know, is pretty important too, right, for some folks. So Prime, pretty important stuff. But think about Optimus Prime, how really nobody else can be like him, right? Nobody else can be like Optimus Prime. He's the leader of the whole group, and he's the one that's going to save the world, and he's going to be the one that's in charge of the whole operation. Prime numbers are kind of similar. When we're looking at prime numbers, we look at numbers that can't be broken down. They can't have two numbers multiply to be that number, except for 1 and the number. Can you think of a number like that? What is a number that the only two numbers that multiply to be that number are 1 and the number?
Probably, like, every uneven number, like 3.
Okay,
and-
so how about 3? Is there any other number that can divide into 3?
Nope.
Just 1 and 3, huh? Should we put it over in the prime column? Put a 3 over there. Give me another number you think is prime. No other number can go into it.
Like a 7.
7, put it over there. Keep that pen. We're going to write some things down. 7. So if it's not prime, then it's going to be composite. Okay? Composite means two things are going to compose that other number, right? That's where the word comes from. Think of a number then, Cohen, that you can think of in your mind that two numbers can multiply to be that number.
Like 20.
Okay, write down 20 over there. What numbers multiply to be 20?
10 and 10.
10, not 10 plus 10, but we're going to multiply them. So 10 times
2.
2. There we go. So that works. What's another number that's composite? Another number that has two numbers that can multiply to be together to get that number.
Like 6.
Okay, put down a 6. Sounds good. Now here's a challenge. I heard when we were talking about prime numbers, you were saying, well, pretty much any number that's not even. So you were thinking that all prime numbers are odd, right? Can you think of, and I want you to think about this before you write it down, can you think of an odd number that is composite? Two numbers multiply to be that number, but it's an odd number. Like 1, 3, 5, and 7.
Do you like that? Huh.
That's a tough one, huh?
So
Now, here's the clue for you. Think of the numbers Scott just said, 1, 3, 5, and 7. What would be the next number in that pattern?
3, 5, 7. It would be.
So if we go from 1 to 3,
It would be 9.
there you go.
There you go.
So think about 9 and have a little discussion with that.
Is 9 a prime number or a composite number? Cohen, what do you think?
It's a prime.
It's a prime number? Can you think of any numbers in the world that they multiply together to be 9? Not just 1 and 9. What other numbers multiply to be 9?
The numbers that can multiply to be 9 are probably. 3 times 3.
Ah, so we found some numbers that are not 1 and 9. So that means that 9 is a composite number, and it's odd, right? So go ahead and put 9 in that column over there, so we know that 9 is a composite number.
And okay.
Yeah, it's a composite, right? 9. And so we have even and odd numbers in the composite group. Can you think about this real quick? Is it possible to put an even number in the prime column, like maybe 8? Is 8 a prime number?
Yeah, because you can put. Actually, no.
It's not, is it? What can you multiply times to get 8?
4 times to get 8.
Yeah.
2 times 4.
2. So 2 is the most important thing, huh? So if you have an even number, you can almost always use a 2 times something else to get it, right? So like 32, 2 times 16. Or 200, 2 times 100. So that's kind of the difference there, right? There's prime and composite. So we have the difference, and now you should be able to know, can I think of numbers that multiply together to get that number? If I think of two numbers that multiply together, it's composite. If you can't think of any numbers, it's prime. And there's a way to test for that too. Not quite sure how far we're going to go with this, but man, it's good to know, be able to distinguish between those two.
Well, let's try this right now. How old are you?
I'm 9.
You're 9? So is your age prime or composite?
Composite.
It's composite. How old will you be next year?
10.
What do you think that is?
Composite.
How do you know?
Because 10 times 2 equals 10. I meant 5 times 2.
There
5
you
times
go.
2.
5
there you go.
times 2
10 times
equals
1.
10.
5 times 2. That's
All
it.
right. Now, what is the number on your house?
The number on my house.
Like
Your address, do you know?
Yeah. 4400.
4400? What do you think that is? It's a big number. Prime or composite?
It's composite.
How do you know?
You can put 2,200 times 2.
Oh, there you go.
There
It's
you
always
go.
about a 2. Good
Now,
for you.
here's an easier way. You and Scott talk about looking at that number. How can you tell definitely without having to do any division or multiplication?
What do you think? Is there a way you can look at 4,400 and know for sure that another number goes into it without doing any math?
Without doing math?
Yeah, I mean, we'll do some math a little bit, but you know, if just by looking at it, what's kind of a clue that tells you this is a composite number?
It has, first of all, it has 2 even numbers in it.
Yeah, that's a good start. That's a good way to look at it.
And
How about this? Underneath it, I want you to write 400.
okay.
And then underneath that, I want you to write 40. Now you and Scott have a discussion and see if this makes it a little easier for you.
What do you think? What do those numbers have in common?
Those numbers all have in common that they all have a 4. And
They all have a 4,
and
yeah.
they at least all have at least 1 0.
Aha, there you go. And they all have a 0 in the same place, right?
Uh-huh.
What is that place that they have a 0 in?
In the ones.
In the ones place, that's right. So if you look at the number 40, we'll look at the smallest one first. What can you divide 40 by?
40 divided by, you can divide it by actually a lot.
A lot of stuff, that's right. Because it has the 0 on the end, what do you know you can divide it by?
It can be divided by,
Something else with a 0 on the end. What's that?
like, 40 divided by 30.
Not quite by 30, but something else with a 0 on the end. What can you do? What can you do? 40 divided by some other number with a 0 on the end, because they both have zeros on the end. The 0 on the end of a number really gives you a lot of clues as to what that number's all about.
Okay, so how about 40 divided by, like, 100?
Now you could, but you get a decimal, right? We want to make sure it goes evenly.
Even?
Yeah.
So,
What's a number? Another number smaller than 40 that ends in a 0.
ends in a 0. 20, the one that's right next to it.
Yeah, 20 is definitely a good job. That's right. That's right. What's a number even smaller than 20 that you could divide it by? Well, we got you thinking today. We can almost
You
hear
have no
thinking.
idea how much pleasure it gives me that you said 20. I was hoping
That's awesome. That's
because
great.
20
He
works,
says
but it's not
right
the number
there.
he's looking for,
Yeah.
so keep going.
He says it's right there. No reason to make up a new one.
40 divided by 10?
Divided by 10. There you go. Now here's a question for you. With this 400, can you divide 400 by 10?
400 by 10.
Can you divide it by 10?
Yeah,
Yeah, you probably could, huh? How do you know you can divide by 10?
because they both have zeros at the end.
That's it. What about this big number, the number of your address? Can you divide that one by 10?
Yeah,
How do you know?
because they both have zeros.
They both have 0 at the end, right? Yeah, there you go. So if it has 1 0, you can divide it by 10. What if it has 2 zeros? What do you think you can divide it by?
Divided by 10.
You could divide it by 10. Yeah, just like we said, huh? But this 40 has 1 0, and so does the 10. This 400 has 2 zeros. What can
So-
you divide it by?
100.
100. There you go. What about your number up here? How many zeros is it?
2.
2. So what can you divide it by?
1,000.
Just 2 numbers, just 2 zeros.
Okay, so just 100.
100, that's right. So one more thing I want you to do over here. You just said 1,000, okay? I'm going to put divided by 1,000. And in front of it, right here, you give me a number that you know for sure that you can divide by 1,000.
You can divide
What
by
number can you
1,000.
divide by 1,000? You write it right there on that line that I just wrote there in red. Nice. How do you know you can divide 6,000 by 1?
Because they both have three zeros at the end.
They both have 3 zeros at the end. Wonderful. That's a great hint to know. Without doing any math, you don't even have to know what that answer is. You probably do because you're a smart guy. But you don't have to know what the answer is. You just know that it is a composite number because it can be divided by 1,000.
Nicely
Wow.
done, nicely done.
That's
All
some
right,
solid
do me a
work.
favor, erase the board.
Remember how to do that? Find
Yeah.
that little red block? There you go.
All
Next.
right, now, well, hold on, brother. Don't put the pen down. You're not done working yet.
Get that pen. We got some math to do.
All right, down along the bottom, I want you to write 1 through 9 and put a comma in between each one. So put 1, comma, 2, comma, 3, all the way to 9.
Looking good. Getting smaller. There you go. One more. Nice.
All right, Scott, do me a favor, kind of in the middle, over on the left, draw 2 dashes. So 2 place values
Oh, okay.
next to each other, yeah. There you go.
Okay.
Get rid of that third one, I guess.
Can you erase that one for me there?
Yeah, I
Cohen?
think I can.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, Cohen, I want you to use any 2 digits down below. All right, you can only use each number once. And I want you to make a prime number.
A prime number.
Use any 2 numbers you want, make a prime number.
Below or above?
Above
above
them, so put them on the dashes, yeah. You can't use 2 3s, you can only use 3
Oh
once.
yeah.
So remember, we want to find a number, right, that you can't divide by anything else but 1 in itself.
So how many ways?
So 3 is fine. You're okay with the 3. I'm all right with that one. We just got to make sure you choose wisely for the second number, right? So before you write it down, can you put a 2 in the second spot?
No.
How come?
Because you could divide that by 2.
That's right. Could you put a 4 in the second spot?
No.
How come?
Because you can divide it by 2.
There you go. How
All
about
right, whoa. Too many hints, too many hints, too many hints.
So you're on the right track here. So we have to be wise about what this next number is, right? So you put a 1 there. Is 1 an odd or an even number?
Odd.
It's an odd number. And so you think that putting those together is going to be able to make you a prime number. Now you got to rack your brain. Can you think of any numbers in the world that will multiply together to be 31? You know it's not going to be a 2. You avoided that. That was good.
Oh, okay. I get it.
I think you're okay. We don't need to do anything about it. I just wondered if you could think of any other numbers.
I was going to say, you look pretty prime right there.
Ooh, 16 times 2. What is 16 times 2?
16 times 2 is 31.
Not
It's
quite.
30
A little bit higher.
Oh. Okay.
Ah, we know it can't be that because it doesn't end in a 2, right? It's 32.
And it
So I
can't be
think your
14 times
choice
2.
of 31 is pretty good. I like the fact that you're thinking that, oh, I can get awfully close to it, but you can't quite get 31.
Good. So, Cohen,
choice.
cross out down below the 3 and the 1.
Okay.
Underneath where you wrote all the numbers,
Right down there. Cross out. See this 3 right here? Cross it off.
and cross
the
off
1.
the 1.
Okay.
Scott, 2 more lines, if you please.
Okay.
All right, Cohen, you can only use the numbers that are left.
Uh-oh.
Make another prime number.
Got to make another one.
So 57.
Ooh. Can you think of some numbers that can multiply together to be 57?
Could it be?
I dare say you're looking pretty good there.
Almost.
Oh, yeah,
But
okay.
not quite. You can divide that by something. That's a rough one. What numbers
Think
could
about
you
it,
do?
yeah.
That's rough. You know it's not even, so that was a good choice. I like how you put a 7 at the end there.
Oh.
That's tough. You only have a couple choices, right? You can put a 7 there, or you can put a 9 there, and you chose to put a 7 there, right?
And the 9 is a.
Do you think the 9 might work?
The 9 might.
Uh-huh. Reach on over this calculator real quick and do 57.
And you know it's going to be, you know you can divide it by 1, and you know it's not going to be divisible by 2 because it's not an even number. What comes after 2?
3.
Do 57 divided by 3 and see what you get.
19.
Ah, so it does go in evenly. Doggone, we were so close. So instead of putting a 7 there, what can you put instead?
Instead of putting a 7, I could put a 9.
There you go.
There you go.
That's
So
a good
do
choice.
that, and what we're going to do is we're going to come back and work a little bit more with Cohen and some prime numbers. But we do have one final opportunity to head back out to Action Sports, visit with Sam, and see how Marylou is doing
And
on
we
the
are
bike.
back at Action Sports with Sam Aames, store manager, and I just got fitted for a wonderful bicycle. Now this is off-road, correct?
This
Or-
is a sort of a dual, we call it dual sport, a hybrid, if you will. It is absolutely capable of doing some light gravel road riding, and it's also very effective on the bike path and around town and neighborhoods. It's a great commuter bike. We have a lot of people that commute on this style of bike. So it actually can do a number of different things quite well.
It is extremely comfortable. I could like ride out on this right now.
So that's really what's really important about fitting a bicycle. Oftentimes when we put somebody on a bike, they don't understand that the tilt and the angle of the seat can be adjusted, that the handlebars can be adjusted, that what is the optimum leg extension that we're after for the best muscle usage. So there are a lot of things that go into that effort, and in modern bicycle fitting time, we really have covered, even from the professional levels down, how important some of those ergonomics and biomechanics are for being comfortable, because if you're comfortable and you're an athlete doing the sport, you can go harder, you can do better. And if you're a casual person, you can just be more comfortable, and we really can make a lot of changes to make that happen.
Well, obviously, you're going miles and miles and miles. I mean, 20 miles is like nothing for you guys. That's like a mile around the block.
Sure. And we were discussing before the segment, trying to think of some type of unique math scenario, and one of the things that we also goes into this is cadence. So we think about revolutions per minute and how fast somebody pedals. We really try to educate our customers to get a pedal revolution of 75 revolutions per minute or greater. So if you think you ride a bike for an hour and you did 75 revolutions a minute, you can do the math on that and see how many redundant pedal strokes you make. So cycling is a sport of repetition, and it's important to have it right.
Yeah. Well, being a runner, I run and pass people up a hill. But coming down the hill, they're laughing at me because they're flying past me
Yes.
down a hill.
Cycling is still really it's debated a little bit, but really the most efficient form of human transportation if you get down to the brass tacks of it. And bicycles nowadays also are just so incredibly smooth and efficient, and they just operate so well.
So can I ask you, for students watching right now, how would they be able to get into this industry? What steps would they need to take?
So much of our business is like any other business. We have sales staff that have to have, we'd like to, a lot of them are young, but they're maybe taking business courses at Cal State or at Bakersfield College, or they've had some college experience. Getting into the sales force is like any other sales force, but you have to learn about the industry. There's a lot to learn in the bike industry. There's a lot of parts and a lot of specifics. Mechanics, there are mechanic schools and colleges around the country. There are multiple ways into the industry if somebody really is interested in it.
Wow. Not just, hey, I know how to ride a bicycle. There's a lot more to that.
Sure. Well, we love when we hire staff that have some cycling interest, or they were already a rider, or maybe their parents rode, or they had a friend, even if it's when they were a kid, because that passion really translates into better customer service experience, and it really gives us something to work with.
Just like you, obviously.
I love
Your
it.
passion, and then it became...
It did. I was grateful, when I was young. I always wanted to work at the bike shop because that was kind of the thing, and I was racing my bike, and cycling has been very, very good to me. The industry has been very, very good to me. So we're proud of Action Sports for what it's accomplished.
Well, I want to thank you very much. This bike is beautiful. Like I said, I'd love to take it with me right now. Well, thank you for your time.
My pleasure.
We have a little gift for you. Again, we appreciate so much
Thank you.
for letting us come in and just going so much into the depth of what you guys do here.
Well, thanks for the opportunity. And a final thought for some of the students that are watching that are into math. There's a lot of math that goes into bikes, and there are a lot of equations and things out there when you start to look at force and speed and mass, a lot of physics. So if somebody is pursuing that and they get into cycling, there's a lot of ways to use their math skills.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's it from Action Sports today. Back to Mike at the studio.
All right, thanks for that, Marylou, and also thank you to Sam and everybody over at Action Sports. Phone tutors are available until 5:30. Cohen is in studio working on prime numbers. So there's another number you can make. We figured out it wasn't 27 or 87.
So maybe it could be 67?
You think 67?
That's a good guess.
67?
I'll
give you about 15 seconds to let me know if you're definitely sure on that. You feel good with that?
I'm going to divide it by 3 and see if it's anything. Because if it is, I'll be mad.
Well, get your calculator.
Equals, okay, let's see what it equals. If it does equal something.
I'll help you out quick here. So
I'm
we're going
pretty
to
sure
go
I've done it.
67 divided by 3. You get a decimal. So there you go. Hey, we're going to have him continue working on this, and until we meet again,
That is
continue
a big number.
to do the math.
Major support for Do the Math has been provided by Chevron, the Kern County Superintendent of Schools, Edison International, Valley Strong Credit Union, California Resources Corporation, Bakersfield West Rotary Stroop Family Foundation, Panama Buena Vista Union School District, Bakersfield City School District, Kern High School District, and AC Electric Company, with additional production assistance provided by these supporters of education in Kern County and throughout the state of California.